Most of you don't pray all that often. I know that. And you do it, and you don't do it because it's not that important to you. Because if it was important to you, you'd do it. I can follow you around in a day and tell you what matters to you, because it's what you do. You can't tell me, well, I didn't have time for it. No. You didn't make time. The things you make time for in life is what you value. You can't say, well, I didn't make time for prayer. No, you didn't. So we're going to talk about prayer using those same motivations for the gym. We're going to call it David's Gym of Prayer. And we're going to talk a lot about it in the next couple months. Because you might say things like, well, prayer is hard. I get it, it is. Paul even says, labor with me. He owns this. We're going to talk about that next month. You might say, well, I don't ever feel anything when I pray. I get that too. We'll talk about it. Or I lose focus. Believe me, I lose focus all the time. There's tricks for this. Or you can say, I don't get answers. I understand that. We'll talk about it. It's a one-way conversation. I feel like my prayers hit the ceiling. I get it. I feel like that a lot too. Or I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't think it works. We're going to deal with all of that next month. But you can't get to that point till you realize the desperation you need. Desperation leads to motivation. So it's time for us to get desperate about praying. So the fitness journey. Here's a story from the Bible I think illustrates this really, really well. 2 Chronicles 20. So Israel's done what a lot of us have done. Stop putting God first. We love the world, not God. We love God's stuff and not Him. It's the great blasphemy of the universe. So all of a sudden, Jehoshaphat, who's the king of Israel, gets bad news. And the bad news is, hey, there's a ton of armies right there, and they're coming and they're surrounding us, they're going to kill us. So what Jehoshaphat does is he gets all the people together and commands them to do two things: to fast and to pray. To seek the face of the Lord. And that word seek means to be desperate, to tread back and forth, like to wear an aisle. Like right here on the floor, there's a tread because this door keeps going back and forth. It's put a dent in the floor. That's what your prayer life should be. It should be a dent because you're doing it so often. These people are desperate for survival. They turn to prayer, nothing else. They don't run and hide. They don't try and outrun them. They pray. The second thing is they do it together. He calls all of Israel together and they pray as a group. It's accountability. It's community. And the third thing is they have awe. Remember that awe-inspiring location? The awe in this is you get to talk with God. Now, we lose sight of how amazing God is sometimes, and one of my goals is to bring that back. This is the God of the universe. That's who you're talking to. And Jehoshaphat says, God, you rule over everything. You have the power and the might, and no one can stand you. We're going to trust in you. And it all comes together for Jehoshaphat. And he says we're going to fight. But after they prayed and after they trusted in God. And this is the best part. When they go out and fight, he doesn't send the best troops out. Do you know who he sends out first? The band. The musical people, so the trombones, they're the ones that lead in battle because everything starts with worship. So if they're at Shoe Corner, Mrs. Monroe or the jazz band, let's go, you're leading us. Because it starts with worship. So for the rest of the year, the David's Gym of Prayer. These things we're going to wrestle, we're going to pray about. So what? Your motivation needs to be desperation. You need Jesus. You do. You've tried to fix all those things I mentioned. How's that going for you? So that's your motivation. It needs to be desperate. The second thing is we need to do it together. And that is one thing we're going to do. So some of the details are coming, but for now, next week, Thursday, during lunch, it's going to be in here. I invite all of you to pray with me, and Mr. Slings, and any other teacher. We're going to pray. A lunch and B lunch. I'll have some food for you, don't worry. But we're going to pray. 20 minutes. We may do it in groups. We may do it as a big thing. You can come and you don't actually have to say the words. You can join us. But we're going to pray for everybody. We're going to pray for the school. We're going to pray for you. We're going to be desperate. We're going to do it together. We're going to hold each other accountable. I don't want to guilt you into it. I want you to be there.